Om Sri Sai Ram, Om Sri Sai Nadhaya Namaha, Om Sri Sai Parabrahmane Namaha. Today in the satsang, we will talk about a new series. It is called Teachings to Change Lives. And these are teachings based on Shirdi Sai's the sayings and his stories and his charters. So the first item we're going to look at it is how to cultivate the positive thoughts and how to change our lives for really good. Our mind is nothing but a flow of thoughts in the background of impressions. These impressions will influence our life. Our thoughts will dictate our well-being. Positive thoughts will create positive environment, and negative thoughts will lead us into chaos. We think about so many things before we go to bed, and we definitely want to implement them the next day at any cost. When we get up in the morning and hit that buzzer for the alarm, then what happens next is we get lost in the jungle of life. Everybody else is controlling our life. People are telling you what to do that day. People are dictating what you need to do that day. We feel like we do not have a choice, and you're dragged in different directions. Work, kids, family will cause exhaustion by the end of the day. You're exhausted. And you come back home and you go to bed, tired, emotional, and same thoughts, frustration, anger, overwhelming you because you could not control your life and you could not do what you really wanted to do. And you felt really helpless when you hit that bed. So Baba said one time, if you get a good thought in the night, you ponder over it, think about it. When you get up in the morning, put that thought into works. This is the first step in the direction of the truth. That is gnana, that is knowledge. This is what gives us mental peace. These are the beautiful words Baba spoke once. Baba always encouraged his devotees to implement good thoughts immediately. He never really liked laziness and the thought of postponing for a later period. Our lazy attitude is the reason why we cannot do what we want to do. So we are obstructing our own life. So we have to put good thoughts into practice quickly and leave the result to God's grace. God always protects us and takes us forward with positive thoughts and good intentions. Baba always provided his blessings and gave us enough patience to carry out those fruitful good thoughts. Our mind creates our own reality. The ignorance that is called Maya, covering our thinking, makes our reality blurred. Our thinking distorts because of this Maya. Our thinking dictates our words. Words will determine our language. Language in turn makes us behave a certain way, and our behaviors will become our habits. The habits will create our values. Values will lead us to our destiny. So making our thoughts positive will change everything we experience in our lives. Let's look at this again. Our thinking dictates our words. The words will determine our language. Language, in turn, makes us behave a certain way. And then our behaviors will become our habits. And our habits are our values. Our values will lead us to destiny. So, Sai Bandhus, make sure we have those positive thoughts always. Our mind, thoughts, emotions, expectations, and behaviors actually create our reality. If we have negative thoughts, we will invite more of a negative energy. If we think positive, we will imbibe positive energy. Medical studies point out that a positive thought will increase our immunity by 5 hours. And similarly, a negative thought will reduce our immunity by 5 hours. We'll have to make a choice here, man. Please let us not destroy our lives by negative thoughts. Let's be positive. So, with this introduction about our lives, let's see the solutions. How to generate these positive thoughts. What can we do about it? The first point is try to hang out with people who are positive. Of course, I mean, you can't avoid the people who are negative certain times, but try to be positive. This could be challenging, right? This could be done. Baba put it in simple words. If you cannot endure abuse from another, just say a word or two or else leave. This is a great statement. And he was thinking about difficult circumstances that we face every day. He knows that we cannot be perfect. So, what do we need to do? So, we have to hang out with the people who are filled with positive energy. And you have to make your surroundings positive. Cultivate. The second one is the cultivating positive language. The way we speak, sometimes we may not be negative, but the way we speak will make it negativity, will create negativity. So Baba taught us some nice things about positive thinking. He stated that there is a wall of separation between oneself and others, and he said between you and me. Destroy this wall. And what does this means really? Usually we love everything that is ours. When it belongs to us, like our children, our family, our state, our country, whenever you want that, whenever you feel that that's yours, then your response changes. Whatever is not ours, we tend to look at it in a different way. We tend to criticize and jump to conclusions very quickly. We cannot control this urge to react. This is where we need to be careful. That's why Baba says, destroy that wall of separation. If we can just understand this concept, our lives will improve for the best. Then we can avoid this kind of negative thinking. We might not like everyone that we interact with, but we can keep our words to a minimum so that we cannot say those negative words. By saying negative words, we lose our own positive energy. So we don't want to lose our positive energy that we built, we accumulated. The third point is focus on what you have rather than what you do not have. This impacts us greatly in everyday life. There are so many things that we can find that are positive in our lives. We might have good health, good family, enough to eat and survive, etc. Some of us may not be that fortunate. It does not matter really. Just focus on what we have. Sometimes having everything is not enough, and there's more to acquire. Mind always wants more, better, and whatever it does not have. Here we should be careful about the other side of the spectrum. It's not always about what we have or not have, but also what others have. Like say somebody has a beautiful property, a beautiful house, or they bought a beautiful car, whatever it is. It's good to say positively, but what people get used to is, oh, everything is good, but if you had this, it could have been better. So we try to find that negative aspect of that particular situation because our mind always wants to look for the negative, because you can't afford to lose this energy from you. So you have to be careful. Instead, we have to learn to compliment, give them positive blessing, so that your positive energy will build up. The number 4 is everything that happens in our lives is an opportunity to grow and learn. We have to have this kind of attitude. We cannot be pessimistic. We want certain things to happen certain way only. When we perform certain tasks, we expect certain result. We sometimes don't care whether we deserve this, nor did we put in enough effort into it. In the process, we get disappointed and show some emotions. These emotions will trick us to do some irrational things. And moreover, we're going to justify these emotions, and our suffering will increase manyfold. We can stop for a moment and think that it's not always the fault of others that you did not achieve what you expected. If we believe in destiny, the others could be instrumental in causing this suffering, but in reality, this might not be good for you. And this is not the truth. God has something else for you, which might prove efficient for your future. This is where we need to learn patience. That's why Baba always emphasized the faith and the patience. So we have to have this kind of attitude where you feel whatever happens in your life is an opportunity to grow and learn. And number 5 is create positive environment around your house. You might not be able to control all the places you roam around, but you have some control in your own house. So we need to try to make our house a source of positive energy. We need to have some rules where we do not criticize others, and members can remind each other when we do this. So we can give a feedback to each other, not in a critical way, but helping each other, so that we can develop that positive culture in our house. We can have some spiritual music playing in the background while our chores are being done. And when you're getting ready for the school, when you're getting ready for the work in the morning, when you're preparing the kids, when you're eating breakfast, try to make sure that there's some kind of spiritual music flowing in the background, because that will give you a lot of positive energy. And this will have a positive impact on kids, other members of the family before they start their day. It can carry forward to your work also. Hang kind of inspirational, positive pictures in your house. Dinner table is also a good place where we hang around most of the time as a family. So try to make your dinner table as a positive environment. What we watch on television makes us think either positively or negatively, and it has an impact in our lives. Try to balance the entertainment part of it and mix in with some nature and spiritual programs. This will create some soothing atmosphere in the house. As parents, we never think about these things, or we do not take it seriously. And some of us might be doing it already, but maybe we're not doing it enough. Or maybe whatever we're doing is not creating such an impact on them. We need to take a look at it. The movies, the shows will have a lot of impact on the kids. We can mix and match to some extent. And number 6 is reading spiritual and inspirational books. Our cultures are a treasure, and we need to take advantage of them. So, many great people wrote so many books explaining their experiences. Of course, our scriptures are the manuals for our lives. We want to survive without proper guidance? No. What else we can expect in our lives other than suffering if we ignore our scriptures? As parents, we do not have time to read or listen to these great things. How can we expect our kids to be normal and responsible human beings? We cannot ignore these simple facts. if we think that all these spiritual books and inspirational readings are only good when you get older, you are the loser, because you're not going to live like a quality life as you get older. You may not be able to do certain things certain way. Each decade is passing. When each decade is going by, you will not be able to do certain things. So now is the time. Now is the time to use these scriptures. Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, Ramayana, our Bible, whatever you read, whatever you belong to, it's better to read now, because we have to learn how to apply these scriptures in our daily lives, without which we get lost in this jungle. We get lost in this family life and the worldly life, and we're going to be unhappy most of the time. So we can't afford to do that. Let's all of us make an effort to change our lives once for all. The number 7 point is be spiritual. I mean, people might think being spiritual means praying, doing pujas, or some kind of rituals, or going to temple, going to church. Of course, I mean, they might be required, but that's not just it. Understanding life and being peaceful is so important in life. Peace is always within, and nobody else can give you peace. We have to realize that we have to generate the positive energy from within. Of course, the meditation is of great help. Meditation will activate your frontal lobe of the brain. This in turn will give you the power of teasing things out. Frontal lobe has the power to discriminate right from wrong. In the scriptures, it was mentioned that focusing in between your eyebrows will activate your frontal lobe, because the frontal lobe is responsible for executive functioning of the mind. If you don't take care of it properly, and if you don't activate it enough, how could you execute your life? How could you really make it work? When we can tease things better, we stay positive. Meditation is not just about sitting quietly for a few minutes every day, but we have to show that same calmness, same positive feeling throughout the day in every interaction we go through. We don't have to have so much emotion into every act we perform. We have to learn to relax. Sometimes, we don't have many choices in a given situation, and there are not many options too. When you don't have many options, a common man, a person with a common sense, how does it go about? What does he do? What does she do? So we have to be like normal, average thinker. Sometimes when we get into situations where there are a lot of problems, we tend to become very childish, we regress in our age, and we retract from everything, which is more detrimental to our life. It will only increase our problem. It's not going to solve the problem. For example, you're not going to fight a hurricane or tsunami or like a major twister, whatever comes along. You're not going to fight it. You're just going to duck somewhere until the difficult situation passes by. Then you come out of it. Sometimes you might have to do the same because you're helpless, you cannot do anything, and you consider a lot of options, and you felt that nothing is going to work. Sometimes the time is the best sense, and it's going to give you some solutions. So we have to learn to relax. When we relax and don't show much emotion into every act we perform, this will do miracles. This will inculcate a natural meditative state in your daily life. So these truths cannot be ignored. That's why Baba really emphasized the patience part of it. Sometimes we want to do the good things, we have good attitude, but we don't have enough patience. We cannot wait for good things to happen. And we are so difficult sometimes with ourselves. So we have to let it go. We have to be easy. We have to show that patience. And at the same time, we have to believe in ourselves. We have to believe in God. We have to believe in our scriptures, which will take us to our destination. We have to remember that life is multifaceted and very complicated sometimes. So we have to tackle this with a multi-pronged approach. No single method is going to work. And you have to combine as a whole. You have to take a combined approach that is called multi-pronged approach to life. Unless we do that, we're not going to be happy in our lives. We need to apply everything that works. With this, we will conclude our session today. We will talk more about these teachings to change lives by Shirdi Sai in the future satsangs. Until then, Om Sri Sai Ram, Om Sri Sai Nathaya Namaha, Om Sri Sai Parabrahmane Namaha, Om Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai.